This clip is sponsored by Med Travelers. If you're an SLP interested in travel therapy, visit medtravelers.com to get started. Okay, myth 6. It is a sign of a child being lazy if they mix two languages together instead of just using them one at a time.
All right, so there's two things I want to talk about with this one. I think that for individuals who are able to dominate two languages and go back and forth between the two, um, there's something called code switching, right? And this is common and normal. And it's actually used very skillfully by bilinguals. So it does depend on who your audience is, right? Who your conversation partners are. Um, but any skilled bilingual should be able to say, okay, in this context with this person, I'm going to speak English. With this person, I can speak Spanish. But given what I know about each of these people, I might be able to use, vocabulary that may be more colloquial as I see fit, right? So in that sense, I would say it's the opposite of being lazy. It's being very nuanced and skilled in how we're using language. Um, that being said, for emergent bilinguals, right, someone who's learning a second language or two languages, they may have to rely on whatever language they have developed more fully, right, to fill in those vocabulary gaps that may exist. So you may hear a child trying to speak in English, but every now and then they're throwing in a word in Spanish because they just can't think of or don't know the word in English, right? So again, it's not that they're being lazy or not trying. It may just be that they're not at that point.
Yeah, and I think that's I've always thought, well, they're just being resourceful. It's
Mm-hmm.
like I want to get my message across. And so I but I have had that question before is, and what's your opinion on this? So if a teacher or a parent says, when they're doing that, should it be called to their attention? Should anything be said about it? Should you encourage them to try to find the word
Mm-hmm.
in one language? What's your thoughts on that?
Sure. So I think this is called translanguaging, and it's when we do acknowledge what's being said, but we might offer the appropriate word if we know it, right? So if they're in the presence of a bilingual educator who totally understands what they're trying to say, the teacher or paraprofessional or SLP might be able to just rephrase that so that it is like a better model. Does that make sense?
Yeah, so maybe repeating back to them
Mm-hmm.
what they've said, but filling in the words that they used another language for instead of
Right.
all one
So
language.
it's like recasting in a way.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
But shouldn't be such where don't do that. It should never be.
Right. I don't think it should be posed
Yeah.
negatively. Just
Okay.
like understanding first, like recognizing like, oh, this is what you want to
Mm-hmm.
say, and then offering the way
Yeah.
you would say it.